Here are 10 time trivia facts you can listen to in English. Now, let's get started. Short but long leisure. Have you ever felt that a vacation goes by very fast, but when you think about it later, it feels very long? This is because how we feel time is related to our memories. When we do new things, like traveling, our brain gets a lot of new information. Because of this, our brain makes many different memories. When we look back, we have so many memories that we feel the time was very long. This idea is sometimes called the holiday paradox. Experts say an important reason is the number of changes in our activities. During a trip, we often go to different places and do different things. These changes create many small parts in our memory. But during a normal week, we usually do the same things every day. There are not many changes, so our brain makes the memory of that time feel short when we look back.
The shortest time. Can you cut time into smaller pieces forever? Today, many scientists think there is a smallest piece of time that you cannot cut. This idea is called Planck time. It is a very, very short moment of time. It is so short that the rules of science we know today don't work for anything shorter. Scientists believe it is the smallest possible unit of time in the world. We can explain Planck time in another way. It is the time light takes to travel the smallest possible distance. With the tools we have now, we cannot measure something this short, so we cannot prove that it is real. However, the idea of Planck time is very important for scientists. It helps them study how the world and the universe began a long, long time ago. Predicting brain. Have you ever wondered how you can catch a fast-moving ball? The answer is that your brain is always guessing what will happen next. How we see the present is not just about getting information from our eyes and ears. Instead, our brain actively makes guesses about what it expects to see and hear. For example, when you see a ball in the air, your brain doesn't wait for all the information. It thinks about where the ball will go next. The brain then only pays attention to the difference between its guess and what really happens. This helps the brain work quickly and easily. This guessing is not just for sports. It's also used when you listen to music and wait for the next sound, or when you know what your friend is going to say. This system is very useful because it saves the brain a lot of hard work. Also, our brain learns best when its guess is wrong. A surprise tells the brain that it needs to learn something new. This might be why doing the same thing every day is boring, but new experiences are very exciting. Fastest record. How short can a moment be? In 2020, some scientists in Germany found the answer. They measured the shortest time ever, 247 zeptoseconds. This is the time it took for a particle of light to go across a very small hydrogen molecule. It is hard to understand how short this time is. 1 zeptosecond is a very, very small part of 1 second. This was a very important discovery. It helps us understand how the world works in very small sizes. This special measurement was possible because of new science and tools. By using short flashes of special laser light, scientists can watch things that happen very, very fast. This lets them see how tiny parts of things move, almost like using a special camera for fast events. This new technology is not just for setting records. It is useful in real life. It helps us understand how things work inside different materials. It is hoped this will help create new inventions, like better computers in the future. Stopped clock. Have you ever looked at a clock and felt the second hand stop for a moment? This is a common feeling, but it's not real. It is a trick that your brain plays. Some people used to think that we just didn't notice the second hand moving, but the real reason is more interesting. Our brain tries to make us see the world smoothly. To do this, it cuts out the unclear pictures we see when our eyes move quickly. Here is how the brain does it. When your eyes move fast, you can't see clearly for a very short time. To fill in this empty time, your brain does something clever. It takes the picture you see after your eyes stop moving and makes you feel like you saw it for a longer time. That is why the first second on a clock can feel so long. This can also happen with sounds. For example, the first ring of a telephone can sometimes sound longer than the others.
Legs age faster. Did you know that your head gets older a little faster than your feet? This sounds strange, but an idea from Albert Einstein says it's true. His idea explains that where gravity is strong, time moves more slowly. Your feet are closer to the center of the earth, so gravity is a little stronger for them than for your head. The difference is very small in our daily lives, but it is a real thing. This idea is very important for technology like GPS. GPS satellites are in space, far from the Earth. Up there, gravity is weaker, so the clocks on the satellites run faster than clocks on the ground. Also, the satellites move very fast, which makes their clocks run a little slower. To make GPS work correctly, scientists must fix the time on the clocks every day. If they didn't, GPS maps would show you the wrong place by about 10 kilometers.
Brains now. Do you ever feel that the now you feel is not just one short moment? Science says you are right. The now that we feel is not just for 1 second. It is something our brain makes, and it is about 2 to 3 seconds long. This idea is called the spacious present. It means our brain takes in and puts together different kinds of information over this short time. By mixing information from our eyes and ears, our brain creates a smooth and clear experience for us. This brain work can sometimes make us see things in a strange way. For example, when you quickly look at a clock, you might feel that the first second is longer than the next ones. This is called chronestis. It happens because your brain wants you to see things smoothly. When your eyes are moving, the brain stops taking in blurry pictures. When your eyes stop on the clock, the brain uses the picture you see to fill in the time it took to move your eyes. This makes the first second feel longer. Grandfather paradox. If you could go back in time, could you change what happened in the past? This question is the idea of the grandfather paradox. Think about this story. A person goes to the past and kills their grandfather before he meets their grandmother. This would mean the person's parents were not born, so the person was not born either. But if the person was never born, they could not go back in time to kill their grandfather. This is a puzzle that is impossible to solve because the story does not make sense. But some scientists think about this puzzle in a different way. They use an idea called the many worlds interpretation. This idea says that if you do something in the past, it does not change your own life. Instead, when you try to change the past, you make a new, different world. In this new world, your grandfather is gone, and you are not born. But in the world you came from, everything is the same. Your grandfather lived, and you were born. So this idea says you can't change your own past. You can only make a new world. Origin of week. Have you ever asked why there are 7 days in a week? The idea came from people who lived a long time ago, called the Babylonians. They were very good at watching the sky. They saw 7 special lights that moved in the night sky: the sun, the moon, and 5 planets. The Babylonians thought these lights were important, so they decided to name a day after each one. This is how the 7-day week was first made. But why are the days in that order, from Sunday to Saturday? The Babylonians also had a special rule to decide the order of the days. This system created the order we use now. Later, people in other places, like the Romans, heard about this idea and started using the 7-day week too. Because of them, people all over the world, including us, still use this system today to plan their lives. Super accurate clock. Can you imagine a clock that is almost perfect at keeping time? Scientists have made a new kind of clock called an optical lattice clock. For many years, we have used special clocks called cesium clocks to measure 1 second. These clocks have been very important since 1967. However, the new optical lattice clocks are much better. They use a special kind of light to measure time more carefully. This new way is over 100 times better at keeping correct time than the older cesium clocks. You might think that we do not need such a perfect clock, but it is actually very helpful. Having a more correct clock is important for future technology. For example, it can help make the GPS on our smartphones work better, so we can find places more easily. Also, scientists can use these better clocks to study our world and learn new and exciting things. They are not just for telling time, but also for helping us in many other ways.